Today, we explore a most terrifying question. A question that has plagued artists, sculptors, storytellers alike for millennia. A question that has yet to be answered, but is always poised every time we pick up a pencil or sit down at a cintiq and stare into the endless void that is a blank canvas. It is the question that wakes us from our sleep, that brings us nightmares. After 12 hours of panels or 15 hours of storyboards, it is the question that we still ask, even when we think the work is done and is ready for print. It is the question that drives us and haunts us at the same time. And no matter how hard you try or how fast you run, no artist has yet to escape the tendrils of its cold embrace. And today, at Ka-Pow, we explore the question and dive in to that one singular sentence that plagues us every night and every day. And that question is, what if? Hey, Ka-Pow family. It is I, your boy, Doc Solo, the director of Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, the real art school for real people with real lives, taught by real industry pros. And I sincerely hope you guys got a kick out of my lame Jeffrey Wright Watcher impersonation. I want us to have fun here. This is kind of how we do it at Ka-Pow. We can't take ourselves too seriously. This is the joy and the love of fandom and the comic craft and storytelling. You know, we get a chance to indulge. We get to do this. We don't have to do this. And so even with this channel, I hope that you guys can see our joy and our passion. Even as a grandpa of 8, I'm still that 12-year-old boy who loves to get in the dirt with his comics and just grab his favorite snack and just dive in. And so hopefully you guys feel that as well. And a little bit of housekeeping. Please like, follow, subscribe if you like what we're putting down here at Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy. If you'd like to learn more about us and what we do, please check us out at teachyoutodraw.com. We are the most affordable, comprehensive, and thorough curriculum of its kind that you will find anywhere if you are interested in learning the craft of visual arts and storytelling. Check us out. I'm going to be dropping a video here soon outlining our tuition rates and all that stuff for all you guys that have been inquiring since we've launched this channel. We are now finally revealing that. And we are also about to launch the Prep Academy. So if you have a child ages 10 through 13 and 14 through 16, check us out. That will be launching in September as well. It is a 90-minute class taught once a week by one of our industry professionals that teaches them sound artistic fundamentals using their love and passion of comics, anime, manga, fandom, whatever the case may be. And so visit teachyoutodraw.com for more information if that sounds good to you. So today we are starting something new here. Excuse me. A few weeks ago, I did a video just off the cuff to see how you guys responded to it, where I reviewed a book that had literally just come on my doorstep, and that was The Art of Marvel Snap. And many of you guys said I should start doing more of these walkthroughs. They're not really reviews, they're more walkthroughs of books in my library, so in hopes that you might find something that you can add to your arsenal of tools and visual reference. And so I thought, why not? My collection is pretty cool, you know, by most people's standards. I need to get some bookshelves, to be quite honest. The conceptualization of this book walkthrough series has inspired me to get bookshelves because I have books everywhere. But I'm going to be sharing them with you periodically. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have a book in particular that you'd like me to check out, if it's available, let me know and I'll see if I can check it out if it's worth getting. Because, again, I want to learn from you as much as we enjoy teaching our students. We also like to learn here. We are forever students here at Ka-Pow. And so today, if that intro was any indication, we are diving into the art of Marvel What If. The art of Marvel What If. And so let's jump right down there. All right. Okay. This is the art of Marvel What If. Now, in full transparency, I have not done a deep dive into this as of yet. And so a lot of these pages that we're going to flip through are new to me as well. Okay. This is the newest member of my book family. And I'm kind of excited. Now, keep in mind, this is not a reflection of how I actually feel about the animated series. We can have that discussion in the comments. I love to have, my wife calls them geek sprees, okay, where we just kind of go off into the fandom and say what we like and what we didn't like. But all I ask is that you be kind, right, and respectful in the comments. We don't want to play the block and ban game here at Ka-Pow. We want people to have a place where they can come without hate and vitriol and just indulge in the art and creation and fandom. And so the what if, wherever you may think about it, I'm not largely a fan of 3D art, to be quite honest. It's starting to grow on me, especially since Blue Eye Samurai. Oh my gosh, that was gorgeous. That was absolutely amazing. If you guys have not checked out Blue Eye Samurai, but Blue Eye Samurai, I started feeling the wall chip away in my feelings about 3D art. And even when I went back to the most recent season of What If, I found myself a little bit more graceful in my assessment of it. And so it's growing on me, even if it's just a new form of visual communication. You can teach your old dog new tricks, right? And so this book I thought was gorgeous. And I love production books because what production books do is they give you a glimpse into the process. Many times when I'm at conventions or I have speaking engagements, people are asking me, where do all my ideas come from? Because I do have my own studio. We have several properties in the works. And graciously, people seem to dig what I'm creating. And on that note, I tell them in full transparency, I don't believe that originality is a thing. I believe that everything comes from something. You know, the Bible tells us, if you're into that, which I am, the Bible tells us there is nothing new under the sun. And whether you believe in the Bible or not, that is sage wisdom. Okay. Most people have gotten their inspiration or ideas from something either consciously or subconsciously. I'm going to be doing a video here on Ka-Pow talking about the myth of creativity. You're going to want to check that out. That's going to be dropping here soon. And so on that note, a lot of my ideas come from consuming the ideas of others. Really, I believe it's Picasso who said, good artists create, great artists steal. Now, however you may feel about that, we're not endorsing plagiarism and the AI thing, which is another video I'm going to be commenting on. We have here on the channel, if you want to go back and check it out, we have a AI debate video where I sat down with people across various disciplines in the craft, as well as someone that actually works in AI from Meta. And that was a great discussion. That was a year or so ago. So it's still on the channel. Check it out. But much like AI, whether you like it or not, it is built upon, it was designed to mimic human behavior. Okay. And as artists, we consume things that we see, right? And we apply them and we put them in this gumbo. We mix them up. And this is what I do with all of my reference books and tomes. I'm not trying to repeat what someone else has done, but rather I'm trying to see if I can find my voice in it, right? If something inspires me, if something catches my eye, or hopefully even teach me to look at something a different way. That is the beauty of consuming the processes and the works of other artists. And so in the spirit of that, let's dive into What If. Now, the thing about this book is it's big. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get a little bit bigger here. Let's broaden it up and let's shrink myself down so we can open this up. All right. All right. Okay, there we go. There we go. We got the full landscape of What If, and you can see, hopefully you can see little old me down in the corner. All right, so let's open this up. We're not going to do a reading, and we're not going to go through every page of this book. This book is how many pages? Over 200 pages. Okay, over 200 pages. It's pretty thick. Okay, pretty big. So we're not going to go through every page. And this is the cover. Let's look at the cover. Let's start off. Let's open up this cover. Let's take in the ooh-wee. All right. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. You see the Watcher and my whom I lamely tried to imitate and impersonate. Of course, Captain Carter and the whole cast. There's a couple of characters that are missing here that I find interesting. You got Killmonger, but this is kind of cool. Pretty nice cover. A little tear here. Okay, I don't know how that happened. You know, I like to take care of my stuff, so that kind of bothers me. I don't know if I did that or that happened in shipping, but not cool. Not cool. All right, so let's open up What If and see what we have here. Try to keep my hat out the way. Let me go ahead and tilt it because I might lean in a little bit. What if? All right. We got a great shot of the Watcher here. Hopefully you guys can see it past the glare of my overhead light. I kind of have to have the light on you all, so I'll try to keep that in mind as I flip through. And we got an opening spread of the Avengers. Wow. If you see me looking off to the side, I'm looking to see what you guys are seeing to make sure you guys are getting a good shot of it. Okay. And done in its, I think the art style was interesting. This was not the worst of 3D that I've seen, to be quite honest. It was unique, and it was trying to imitate, you know, the comic aesthetic. Now you still had them like gummy fingers and weird mouth expressions, but kind of cool. You got an introduction by Brad Winderbaum. Okay, let me first go to let me stop and pause and go back a little bit. All right, and let's look at the chapters. And I might want to look at that. What now? What to work on? What want to work on something cool? Crossing the Marvel multiverse. What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? What if the world lost his mightiest hero? So I guess these chapters are based on the actual episodes. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? What if zombies? Art director evocations. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? Define box. What if Thor were an only child? Eat, sleep, drink, Marvel. What if Ultron won? And last and not least, the making of what if the Watcher broke his oath? Okay. All right. So we know that Ryan Meinerding is like the head of the creative, the visual creative department, whatever that is, of head of visual development and character design. Right. Here we go. Right there. Reading is fundamental. Okay. The head of visual development and character design. And so we have a breakdown of everyone's role in this. I don't know if they're all going to be in the book, but we're not going to try reading. We're going to look at the cool artwork. Okay. All right. That is kind of cool. I love production books. A lot of the books I'm going to be sharing with you guys are production books because I am natively an animator who comes into comics. That skill of seeing things cinematically and in shots and scenes and in beats and taking people from one end of a story to another smoothly. That has really helped me in comics. Okay. Now you see a lot of people that come from the comic world into the animation world. Check out my video with my mentor. That's what he did. He was a tenured veteran at Marvel and DC and Independence for over 20 years by the time I met him at the animation studio that I interned at. Now, granted, I was initially an animation kid. A little bit about myself. I was like most of us in my age group. It started with Saturday morning cartoons and after school cartoons and Sunday comic strips, right? That's where it all started. And it evolved into comics once we became aware of their existence, especially being the black kid in the hood. Comics were not a big part of the culture, to be quite honest. But you could find them at the now extinct newsstands. You know, they used to have these little makeshift huts that you used to buy newspapers and magazines and comics, and they used to be on the spinner racks. at our favorite convenience stores and drugstores. This is how I came into awareness of comics. But my animation love was first, and then comics stoked that love. And then I explored that, and then I went into animation. I was lucky enough to go back into it, and then boom, back in comics and animation. I'm kind of doing both. And so we have a little bit of wow. That is that's a head. That's a head. This is a page from What If with Stan Lee. Conceived, written, and edited by Roy Thomas. Cool. What if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? Now, this makes me want to read this. I'm assuming for all of you comic enthusiasts out there that this is an early iteration of Uatu. I'm assuming. I kind of like the revised version better. I don't know about you guys. All right. Layout, Joshua Shaw. It's a paint layout. And we're going to kind of go. That's from, okay, so this is from 1977. What If #1. I was 5. Okay. Yes, I'm that old. I'm from the 1970s. I was 5 when this page came out. All right. Some nice cell art. I guess it's Ryan RM doing this thing. Captain Carter, buff Captain Carter, coming out of the project. Was it Rebirth or whatever for Captain America? It's a good shot. You see the amount of prep and research and development that goes into these properties. I'm telling you, people, it's a whole thing. The teams are massive. If you're unaware, they're massive, and a lot of this art you won't see if you don't get a production book. I got hooked on production books back in the 90s when, again, also on this channel, I sit down with Dion Knuckles, one of my closest friends, my brother / mentor number 2 in the craft. He got me hooked on production books. And I remember the very first production book he actually had when I went out to Rhode Island to learn how to, I flew out to Rhode Island. This is pre-internet. Okay. So we're talking the late 90s. I flew out to Rhode Island to learn Photoshop. I knew nothing digital, and he was willing to teach me. He was working at Hasbro Toys. He was doing work for Todd McFarlane. He was already doing things, and he thought enough of my character as well as my talent to invest in me. And we have been like this ever since. I love you, bro. Shout out Dion Knuckles. Check out the video where I sit down with him. It's a 2-parter. You can tell our affection for each other. But he got me hooked on production books. And the production book that he introduced me to was Ghost in the Shell. And I still have that. If you guys want, I will pull that Ghost in the Shell, the art of Ghost in the Shell. And that was the very first production book. I never knew such things existed. The power of mentorship, right? This is the kind of thing we want to offer you guys at Ka-Pow. We got T'Challa scene right there. Ryan is a workhorse, man. Ryan is a straight up workhorse. We have the Steve in the iron armor. And again, read this. I'm going to go back and read this because I love to really dive into the process. We don't have time to read this. Obviously, this is not story time at Ka-Pow. But there's the information is in the literature. Okay. These are master classes. If we are just willing to sit down and grab your favorite beverage, kick your feet up in your favorite recliner, and just kind of dive in. Wow. This is some cool stuff. Uatu. These are character pose sheets. Ryan is a beast, man. He's a beast. Look at that. This almost has like and this is Ryan Meinerding. I wonder if he was kind of channeling Alex Ross in this. This has an Alex Ross feel to it, in my opinion. This is nice. Okay, and let's kind of skip ahead. Some character turnarounds. Now these are actually the 3D models. All right. Some more stills. We got Peggy. Beautiful face. Beautiful renditions. Beautiful. Yeah, this stuff is, he's a beast. Got Captain Carter. Again, I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker because I don't want to be too long. I can sit down and do this all day. Okay, but I know we're on YouTube, and even though YouTube is now outpacing Netflix according to the most recent statistics as far as watch time, I don't want to belabor the point and pull on your gracious attention too much. So we're gonna kind of speed through this a little bit. And I'm telling you, I'm looking at this the first time. I bought it, I opened it, I shelved it. I'm like, oh, let me go back to this. Here we got Bucky. Wow. We go from the actual concept art to an animated rendition. Beautiful stuff. Dum Dum Dugan. Arnim Zola. Red Skull. Okay, so this is all Captain Carter. And you got your storyboards, your environment sheets. Really good stuff. You got your storyboarding here. Actually, I'm doing some storyboarding right now for my studio. I'm about to animate some bumper animations to kind of entice the world to support what I'm doing. Wow. And see, the beautiful thing is, because I run my own school, unlike a lot of professional artists that you guys may follow, the real big name guys, who I follow too, just FYI, love those guys. We are the artists you can know. And so I don't have to sign an NDA. I share with my students, my instructors, we can share with our students our personal projects and teach them in real time with things that are going to go to print, publication, or release. And so that's kind of the liberty that we have here. It's kind of exclusive. Plus, we're behind an exclusive community where nobody can get in unless you're invited and you're part of our Ka-Pow family and you're a student or alumni or instructor. So if there's a sneak peek, ain't nobody gonna know but us. Not saying that my artists do that, but I'm just saying. Okay. This is all Captain Carter. Environments, storyboards. Let's go forward a little bit. All right, let's go. All right, cool. Let's go to some Guardians of the Galaxy. Wow. I'm gonna see if I can get some coin. Maybe I can find a QR code, an Amazon thing or something, and leave a QR code or something. This is nice. I'm digging this. Oh yeah, the Reavers. Oh yeah. What were they called? Star-Lord and the I'm forgetting all the names. I'm sorry. But I know Thanos and I know T'Challa. Wow. Yondu. Wow, Amelia Vidal. She did these, huh? She's good. More character sheets, proportion charts. This is, again, things, variances, all the characters that you see. Kind of cool. Really cool. Here's Ryan again. You're going to see Ryan a lot. Amelia Vidal. Killing it with the Corvus and Proxima Midnight and forget this dude's name. That's the Maul. Yeah, Black Maul, I think his name is. Y'all help me out here in the comments. I'm geeking out. We got the Collector. I would really like to see them do the Elders of the Universe. Like, really, they've nerfed them so. They were like powerhouses in early Marvel, the Elders of the Universe, and they kind of became just aliens like everybody else. But we don't get a whole lot of mythos around the Elders of the Universe, but they were heavy hitters in the canon. Howard the Duck. Let's bring them back up to make them real threats. You could have movies with them as real threats leading up to a greater threat. Again, decisions, people, decisions. The whole Wakandan court. Great likeness of Forrest Whitaker. All their likenesses are really good. Angela Bassett and really, really good likenesses. All right, so we got T'Challa. This is a scene from the actual animation there with the Watcher kind of looking over. I always thought that was kind of cool. Throne room. Nowhere. There's nowhere. See, my memory starting to come back, y'all. Nowhere. These are great environmental shots of nowhere. Roy Santua. And I love how they credit everyone. And I'm sure you can find these people on social media. Most artists have their portfolios or some type of social presence. A lot of them don't, surprisingly, but many of them do. And so what I'm prone to do oftentimes is when I find out who's done something that caught my eye, I'll see if I can find them online somewhere, a website, Instagram, even ArtStation, even though they've gone all pro AI. Yeah, I try to find them. So I would encourage you to do the same. But their names are here. You probably can't see this printed in the actual illustration. So kind of cool. They give everybody their flowers. I love it. I love it. Hela's helm. These are obviously equipment and materials. So there's a person that does all that. You know, there's so many ways. I'm telling you, this singular skill set can open up so many doors in creative fields. I know everyone's worried about AI and stuff. I'm like, don't let this impede you from creating. Okay. I'm going to do a whole dissertation on where I really stand with the fears. I believe many of them are warranted, but so many of them are inflamed and excessive. But nothing can stop you from creating. If creating is part of the human condition, and no artificial intelligence can take that away from us. And all you have to do is just want to do it. That's it. You just have to have a heart for it. If there's a will, there's a way. And that's something that the AI can't take from us. So more storyboards. See how loose storyboards are? You know, quick story. When I first opened Ka-Pow, we had a student that I thought was a pretty adept storyteller and a draftsman in the making. And I had gotten a storyboarding job that I was not inclined to take. But one of the things we do here at Ka-Pow is we try, you know, if there's something that I can't do because I have my own projects, I'm not really considering any real outside work at this point. You know, clock is ticking, getting old. I want my voice out there. However that voice may sound, it's got to be out there. That's every artist can relate to that. And so anyway, when this project came to my doorstep, I immediately say, okay, well, let me see if I can get a student that is competent enough. And I'm willing to do that, as are many of my instructors. Okay. If we believe that you are of a skill level that we're willing to endorse. Okay. And if we're not, you'll never even hear about it. But this particular student was, and to his detriment, he never returned my email. I didn't tell him why I wanted to reach out to him. I'm really big on character assessments, which is why we have our interview process. But I just told him to get on my calendar. He blew me off. So I declined the job on his behalf. And then a few months later, he was like, oh, yeah, Solo. Yeah, Solo, I saw that you, I'm like, dude, number one, you don't blow off the director of the school. Number two, just integrity would say, let me respond to this. And he missed out on the blessing. He missed out on the blessing. We had a piece of storyboard portfolio. So, oh well. More character designs. We got Tony Stark. We got Whiplash. We got Thor and the Avengers and the Hulk. I kind of like how they did the Hulk, to be quite honest. He's kind of like a hybrid between bodybuilder Hulk from the Norton movie and bulk Hulk that is from the Avengers, kind of smooth and, you know, more like built more like a tank than a bodybuilder with a snatched waist and a V taper. I kind of like this hybrid technique. See if you guys can see that. There you go. See if you guys can see that behind my little picture. That's kind of cool. All right, more Avengers. I'm skipping through some pages. We have Yellow Jacket. This which episode was this? Was this the episode with the with the zombies when it was actually, I forget which episode this was. Maybe if I actually didn't skip chapters. We got the Asgardians, the Warriors 3 and Sif, and of course Loki. And now I don't like the Destroyer looking so lean. I think the Destroyer should actually look like a tank. You know, I don't know if you guys can see that. The Destroyer should look like a tank. One of the best artists on the Destroyer, I believe, was John Romita Jr. His Destroyer was blocky, and it kind of plays into his artistic aesthetic, but he looked just like, you know, an M1A1, old school Sheridan tank from Asgard. It was kind of cool. There we got the Hulk, you know, not bulk Hulk, not bodybuilder Hulk, but that's a really good Hulk. I think that's a really, really attainable Hulk. A lot of artists, when they draw the Hulk, they just go overboard on the Hulkdom. You know, granted, art is subjective, but I'm more these more environments. I'm more someone that kind of likes something that is balanced, and I'm not big into gratuitous excess when it comes to the craft. That's just not me. That's not me. If that's what you like, cool. You know, that's why I didn't participate in the 90s until I did not. Largely, I kind of skipped the 90s as far as my artistic development. I kind of skipped past the 90s. You know, I bought the Image stuff like everybody else did. I was part of the fandom. You know, during that time, I was developing my skills and prepping to break into the industry, which I did by the time I was 24 officially. But as far as mimicking the trends of the 90s, the artistic and aesthetic trends in comics, yeah, I kind of skipped past that. It was not my jam. I was studying guys over in Europe, and I was really big, and still am to this day, on Carlos Pacheco. And we'll probably do a deep dive here if you guys want. I kind of do these with our students where we do artist breakdowns. If that's something you like, leave it in the comments. Let us know. All right, we got Zombie Scarlet Witch. Hopefully you guys can see this in the glare. We got, again, these beautiful work. If you're not inspired by seeing some of this stuff, even their sketches, you know, every bit helps. This is how we build our visual library. You have to build it in your head, okay? You have to build it in your head. It's great to have reference books and photos on hand. But here's a little secret about the brain, you all. The brain never forgets what it sees. And so for years, one of the things that I share with students and when I'm speaking is my journey. It's unconventional. Now, granted, I wouldn't advise this to anyone else because there is an element of talent at play. And that's not a humble brag. We each have unique gifts unto us, right? That God gave us. They're unique to us. They cannot be duplicated. They cannot be taught. Those are your talents and your gifts. And so my gifts is this oversized, huge head of mine. And so I would actually go, really, when I was in law enforcement, I think the longest drought without picking up a pencil may have been 3 years, maybe 3 years. But every time I picked up a pencil, whether it was a year off, 2 years, 3 years off, over my almost 30-year career, I would come back better. Now, I would not teach that. Draw every day. Hear me. Draw every day. But the reason I'm saying that is I've also come to appreciate the power of having a visual library. We've seen that with the late, great Kim Jong-gi. His visual library and his ability to recall it was supernatural. It was supernatural. Okay. There's still some artists that are close to that level. I have not seen anybody quite on that level. And I'm not on that level by any stretch of the imagination. But I do have a pretty keen recall, whether consciously or subconsciously. So I know that my talent is I can get stuff in front of my eyes and I can likely stick the landing when I decide to pick up a pencil. I think everybody has that in some measure. I don't think it's something that should be leaned upon and relied upon, but something that can definitely be leveraged to your benefit. So get art in front of your eyes. I'm looking at art all the time, even when I'm not drawing. I am studying lines and curves and color palettes and shape language and primitives and compositions, the whole 9 yards. And so do yourself a favor. Start developing your visual library. Just don't think you can pick up a pencil without anything being in your noggin. Okay. Garbage in, garbage out. Good stuff in, good stuff out. All right. Wow. Okay. So we got Demon Strange. Wow. Got to go back and look at that. There's a lot. This is a lot. It's kind of cool. Ryan is a monster, man. Great environments. For all you guys that don't like backgrounds, learn to love them. They are the things that separate the boys from men, the girls from women, pros from amateurs. When you can stick an environment in a background, your perspective is tight. You're able to pull on diverse visual references to create something visually innovative and interesting. And again, that's a job all its own. Everyone's not doing everything. In comics, we have to do everything. If you're talking about comics, you are it. You are that person. You are that dude. Okay. In an animation pipeline or a production pipeline of this extent, they have people that just do that. All they do is background paintings and all they do is character designs. Other people, all they do are compositions, composites. It's a thing. 3D. Okay. There's somebody in the pipeline that specializes at that thing. This is why comic book artists never have a problem finding jobs in other related fields. It's because we are the Swiss Army knife. We are the special forces of the illustration community. From animation to jumping into movie production and storyboards, character designs, costume designs. I've done a little bit of everything in my career. Okay. I've done a little bit of everything from big time to small productions, just so I can say that I did it to expand my expertise and be versed in an area that I knew I needed to kind of beef up. Some good stuff here. I know I got to raise it on this side so you guys can see and leave this side flat. I'm learning the rhythm, y'all. Okay. Oh, some nice storyboards. Again, I'm in storyboard mode right now, and I'm also laying out some pages. So anything that looks, storyboardish or animatic-ish, I'm hyper focused at the moment. More of the zombie guys. Cool. Let's jump forward a little bit. Not the biggest zombie fan. Sorry, y'all. Again, if you want the book, check it out. If you like what you're saying, check it out. I think it's something. I'm happy to have this in my library. I will say that. Art director evocations. What if Killmonger rescues Tony Stark? Okay. All right. We got the I Am Iron Man. Ryan doing his thing. We got Killmonger. Cool. I might have to go back and watch these. I actually have a diorama that's similar to this with Killmonger, except for he's got his swords in his hands. Beautiful stuff, man. I'm ready to go draw. See, this is what these little things do for me. Okay. These walkthroughs. The colors, the textures. I'm learning as I'm sitting here with you. I'm taking it in. I'm not just doing this for your benefit. Trust me. You guys are watching me learn in real time. Surtur. I don't like how they nerfed the Executioner. I'll just be honest with you. Not a fan of how they did him in the movies. He was kind of a hoss. He's a hoss in the comics. And as we know, the comics are now reflecting the movies. Got Heimdall and Odin and Freya. And we got Frost Giant Loki. Cool. Oh, wow. Love it. Amelia Vidal. She is awesome. She is awesome. Got the Guardians and another Elder of the Universe. And I'm like, come on, man. What I liked about the Elders of the Universe is that each one of them. So for those of you who don't know the canon, who just live in the movies, the Infinity Stones were once, one was possessed by an Elder of the Universe. which complemented their power. You had the champion, you had the gardener, you had the collector, you had all these guys that were there at the birth of the universe, according to Marvel, Marvel's inception, the Big Bang, whatever you want to call it. But each one of them had an infinity stone, and they were the wielders of that stone. And so, again, beings in their own right without the stone of immense power, because they were the elders of the universe. That's where we get that name. They were just nerfed to a degree. I'm like, I know everything can't be, massive in production. I just think they just made some bad choices. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. More storyboards. All right, we're going to jump up a little bit. Ooh, we got Cyborg Arm Hawkeye. Black Widow. We got Armored Up Uatu. We got mock-ups of his armor. It's kind of cool. Vision, Red Vision. Cool, good stuff. Again, I'm going to go through this all because I'm skipping stuff and I have not seen it yet. But I don't want to ruin it for everybody. Okay, I want to leave enough mystery in the tank. More storyboards. Yeah, this is going to get a thorough walkthrough from your boy. All right. Oh, and Dormammu. Wow. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. We're gonna do a thorough dive in right after this video is done. So hopefully you guys enjoyed what you have seen thus far here. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. If I had to recommend a book to add to your collection, I'd recommend What If. Regardless of what you think of the show, this is a resource that I believe that you could benefit from. Even if you're not doing animation, if you're just designing characters and worlds, you should have a library of resources from which to pull on at any given time. Because you never know when you're going to need another artist's spark to help spark something in you. Because guess what? Someone sparked something in them. And we just kind of pay it forward. It kind of reverberates, okay, into infinity. And so, consider your boy sparked. And so on that note, we're going to go ahead and call this book walkthrough. I got to come up with a catchy name. Y'all help me out. I got to come up with a catchy name. I like names. And I think the algorithm likes names and series. We got to come up with a name for this. I got to think about it. But listen, like, follow, subscribe, do all the things if you like what you've heard here. And if you are interested in joining our small but mighty crew at Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, apply at teachyoutodraw.com. Now, I'm going to be revealing real soon the actual tuition. And in today's economy, hear me when I tell you this. I'm so at peace with where we stand with what we charge. Yes, it's an investment, but we are so much more affordable than any option. I'm going to lay that out to you extensively on an upcoming video, probably next week at the time of this video. And we're going to do a walkthrough and we're going to do a comparison of similar options. And hopefully you guys will land at the conclusion and see my heart's endeavor to make this type of learning affordable. We don't need comics. We don't need it. Nobody needs this. We choose it and we get to do it because it brings us peace. It brings us joy. It helps us lend our voice to the world in a unique way. And it's fulfilling. It's fulfilling in a way that, quite frankly, AI and other options just aren't. And so we want students that can appreciate that. And we're just now opening up for younger students starting in September. But if you're an adult 18 and over, check out Ka-Pow, the main course. It's the 3-year comprehensive course taught by industry professionals. And my team is amazing. These are the pros you can know. And we will show you how at Ka-Pow. And so on that note, remember, as I always say here at Ka-Pow, life is short. So live, love, and laugh as if it's your last day on earth, knowing when all is said and done, all that will ever be remembered of you is the life you've lived, the lives you've touched, and the stories you've created. So with that in mind, what are you waiting for? I see you guys around. Let's get to drawing. Solo out. Ka-Pow.